What's up? It's Marco, Sage of Soccer, and today I'm going to talk about which players on the U.S. men's national team are the most approved going into the Nations League game against El Salvador. We've got a lot of players who can prove something, whether that's earning a spot on the team or fighting for a starting role, and I want to talk about those because that's basically the only thing we have going into this game. I think even if we lose this game, we're probably going to be fine in the Nations League. We really don't have any. I don't really care if we win in the Nations League or not anyway. And I don't think the team does. Right now, this is about preparing the team for the World Cup, and I think that this level of play is so low that it really won't even make a difference for our starters. So this is the game to give our fringe players a chance and see how they can do, see if they can at least hold up to a team that's definitely worse than the worst team we're going to play at the World Cup. So starting off with the players, I think in goal, Ethan Horvath has a lot to prove because he hasn't been playing. I think March was the last time he had a run of games, if you don't count those 2 minutes at the end of the championship playoff final. But he's looked good in every single time he's played. He's looked like a very good shot stopper, and as he plays more and more, his feet get better. But I think he needs to be able to prove that he can play out of the back with his feet, that he can hit some long-range passes, and that he won't make any mistakes. If he does any of that, I think Sean Johnson could take the spot. Because Sean Johnson had a solid game. Even though I wouldn't put him above Matt Turner, and that means I wouldn't put him above anybody else on the team, he at least was reliable. Ethan Horvath, he has to be reliable, and if he's reliable, he might be able to start to push himself into that starting role conversation. I know at Nottingham Forest, Samba might be on his way out, and if he is, then maybe something can happen and he stays as a starter. Will it happen? Probably not. I can see them bringing in somebody else to win that starting role, but there's a chance Ethan Horvath starts in the Premier League. And if he can do well in this national team and then keep that form going, he might be able to start come World Cup time, especially if Matt Turner and Zach Steffen are still routing on a bench. Next, at center back, Cameron Carter-Vickers and Aaron Long have a lot to prove to make this team. I think Walker Zimmerman is kind of a locked-in starter, which I have to say I disagree with, but this is how Berhalter sees it. And Chris Richards is going to walk back into this team because he's our best center back, and he's been our best center back since 2020. But Cameron Carter-Vickers and Aaron Long, they do have a lot to prove. However, Berhalter has been somewhat critical of Aaron Long and has praised Cameron Carter-Vickers because he was saying Long, he needs to get up to full speed. He had a couple mistakes. That's weird, especially when, he comes out and says Areola had a great game after Grenada, which I vehemently disagree with. And he's praised Cameron Carter-Vickers. So I think that there might be something there where Aaron Long might have to fight to keep his job on this team. Because keep in mind, Eric Palmer-Brown got onto this team in World Cup qualifying. So I feel like Aaron Long does have a lot to prove. I'm not even sure if he ends up starting this game. If Aaron Long gets better, it could help in situations. He does still have a bit of pace. He's decent in. I don't think he's good in the air. I don't want him in the team, but I don't want him to do bad, I guess. Cameron Carter-Vickers, he's looked good. I think that he showed some competency on the ball. I think the only mistake was Zimmerman not being prepared for a pass because he was not ready to come on in that game. But I have liked Cameron Carter-Vickers. I think he's looked better in the air than Long. He looked faster than I expected him to. For how big he is, he's really agile. He's kind of built like Anthony Davis, in my opinion. I think his dad's a former NBA player, so hey, that checks out. So, I'm a huge fan of Cameron Carter-Vickers. If he has another really good game today, I think that it's going to be hard to leave him off the team come September. And if he's on this team, maybe you can play him alongside Chris Richards, because I think that might be our most talented center back pairing right now. And I want Cameron Carter-Vickers to succeed. And in order for him to fight for a starting spot, he has to first get on the team, and having a good game today would get him on the team. At fullback, I think Joe Scally is the only guy with something really to prove. I think at this point, we know who Jedi Robinson is, we know who DeAndre Yedlin is, we know who Reggie Cannon is, and we know who George Bello is at this current point in time. I think he'll get better, but he's not good enough right now. So Joe Scally, he has to come into this game, and he has to prove himself. And if he does, I think he's going to stay on this team because I think it was kind of overstated how poorly he performed, but he still performed poorly. And if he has another bad game, like, he's just another random fullback. But if he plays well, this window, our fullbacks have been terrible. Bello didn't impress. Yedlin looks god-awful. Reggie Cannon, he proves he offers nothing offensively. So if Joe Scally can come in and do a good job, I think we take him to, at the very least, September, and probably to Qatar. He's honestly proven himself in the Bundesliga, at least enough. And I think if he has a good game today, it's going to be hard to leave him off the team. So I don't think a starting spot's even possible for him at this point, but I think he could easily stay on the team with a very good performance. And lastly, for somebody to really prove themselves to have a chance to make the team, it's Haji Wright. And Jesus Ferreira, I did not like him this window. I thought that his finishing was just terrible. Even in the Granada game, he missed so many chances. I honestly haven't been that impressed with him with his ability on the ball. I feel like he's been poor in the air. But he scored against a bad team. And we're going to be playing a bad team. Haji Wright needs to put away at least one goal. He needs to make his chances count. And for as many chances Jesus Ferreira missed, he had some really good movement that put him in the position to make those chances. Now, if he was good, he would have put them away. But Haji Wright still has to convert chances. He still has to put himself in the position to score. And he still has to be a good player on the ball. Because I feel like this is going to be a very defensive-looking El Salvador team. And he's going to have a lot of work to do. He's going to have people on all the time. He's going to have to do well if he wants to have a chance to stay on this team. But if he does, I think he can easily make the team. And at this point in our striker conversation, it's easily possible that he makes the squad. It's honestly possible that he starts because, man, we are really hoping that Josh Sharshin and Daryl DK get going to start the next year. But yeah, that's everybody who I think has a chance to make the team. And also for a starting role, I think Brendan Aronson, Yunus Musa, and Luca De La Torre are competing for that last center mid role. I think Brandon Aronson has looked amazing this window. He's impressed on every single occasion. I love his energy. His defensive work rate is better than I thought it would be. Great on the ball. He's making chances happen. He's a great player. Yunus Musa, I don't think he's been as good, and the more I watch him, you can see the potential, the talent with him, but he looks like a teenager. He's making a lot of mistakes, and I'm not too sure I'm comfortable having him in a World Cup. I'm not too sure if I'm comfortable having him go up against Aaron Ramsey, go up against Joe Allen, against that Wales team. And I know Joe Allen, but he's still a championship player, and I think that's a higher level than a lot of the guys that we're facing. So, I'm really hoping that Brendan Aronson can have a good game. Maybe Yunus Musa can keep maturing. And Luca De La Torre has impressed on so many occasions. And he might be able to just fight for a starting role, or at the very least consistent playing time, because he looks so good whenever he comes on. And I'm really hoping that he can do something, because defensive work rate's there. He is so much faster than I realized. I did not realize that. And he just looks like a great player. So yeah, that's everybody I think is fighting for a spot to make the team. I really hope Ariola's on this list too, because, Jesus, we should not have brought him back to the team after he failed in Trinidad in 2017. He should never have been back. But he's gotten worse, if anything. And I really don't want him on the squad. Weston McKennie's played bad, but he shouldn't have been here. He's hurt. And is there anybody else? Maybe I'd really like to see Reggie Cannon just show that he's good, because I do not want DeAndre Yedlin on this team. But yeah, that's all we have to talk about. Got a couple of really good matchups to watch. I'm really hoping Cameron Carter-Vickers is able to start and play well. Joe Scally, Ethan Horvath, Haji Wright. Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. And man, that center midfield battle with Aronson, Musa, De La Torre, because Tim Weah is not getting off the team, unless we move him to striker, which is possible if the Haji Wright situation doesn't go great. But yeah, that's all I've talked about. It's going to be some fun matchups to watch in a game that's not going to be fun to watch. But yeah, that's all I've talked about. See ya.